back to AdobeLive.com. We're streaming live from the 99U conference in New York City, and this is the second day of our live stream. And my guest for the next hour is
Michael Shays.
Michael Shays. No, the truth is our guest is actually stuck in the subway.
This is New York,
yeah, this is New York, and
traffic
apparently
jams,
the
subway is broken.
Subway is broken.
There is no helicopter.
She's stuck in a non-moving
situation.
She's
stuck in a warp zone, like Mario.
Like Mario.
Like Super Mario.
I don't know these game references. Like he's stuck.
You're too old.
Yeah.
No, he goes in the pipe, and then you're in a warp zone, and you don't know where you are. You have to get back to the real world. Amelie's in this situation.
The real world.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she will get back to the real Adobe Live world.
Yeah.
So also, it's a live event.
It's a live
event, you know?
Yes, and because 99U is all about creativity and empowering creativity, well, we've decided to look at some portfolios until Amelie makes it here or doesn't make it here. So we're going to look at the two portfolios that we've chosen in the past few weeks, but this time, and I know many of you here in the chat, like Deepraj is saying, hope this time they review me work. Well, Deepraj, maybe this is your lucky day, okay? So, but before we start looking at portfolios that are submitted right here in Twitter using the in the chat, but please share it on Twitter so we can find it and actually click on the link.
If you go on AdobeLive.com, there is a share your portfolio button. If you click on it, it will create a tweet for you. The important thing for us on Twitter is to add the Adobe Live hashtag. So this is how we can catch your portfolio. So we give you 5 minutes to share your portfolios. We will start by reviewing two, give some feedback, and also exchange with you in the chat. And if you want your portfolio to be reviewed, this is the right time. Okay, this is improvised.
It's so weird to be hosting with a host because it's like
hosting with a host.
Yeah,
it's a double host.
It's double hosting.
Double host.
Double hosting, and it's like you talk like I would, and you know, like it's. All right. Okay.
Like
so
a clone.
Yeah.
Like clones.
We're little clones at 99U. All right. So the first portfolio that we selected for this this stream is the one of Simon Hong,
who is really watching a lot of Adobe Live events.
Yes, Simon.
So I wanted to show this one to Amelie because Simon he does some UX design.
UX design. Okay.
Yeah, he's good. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
And Simon, if you are here in the chat, just give us a shout out, and if you have any questions, please ask them here. And is there, you've been looking at them. Is there any project that you, that you would like us to look at?
Yeah, so he works on mobile app UI design and also websites. The music player is quite good. You can look at this one.
Playa.
Music player UI design. So he creates multiple screens. He's actually using Adobe XD.
Okay.
Which is, it stands for Experience Design. This is this new application of Creative Cloud that we are working on to design screens and create interactive prototypes.
Oh, it's so cool that from Behance you can go download it now.
So you can download now, and you can also click on View Gallery, and it will, you can click actually, it will show you all the projects with the reference made with Adobe XD.
Wow.
And you can directly see what the community is doing with this new app, which is still in beta. We're about to release it, the 1.0. It will come very soon. But you can download the beta for free. It's on Windows and Mac. And the idea is it's really for UX and UI designers to design screens and build interactive prototypes. It's super fast, super easy to learn. So you should really...
Yeah, you can preview on your devices. It's super easy to do that.
So Amelie will be joining soon. Yeah, I see people are just tuning in. Amelie is stuck in the metro, in the subway. She will arrive.
She will get here. She will get here. One thing that I wanted to say about XD is that it's a super interesting way of developing software. That we started with XD using a thing called User Voice. Is this what it's called?
User Voice.
User Voice, and basically it's a system that allows us to have direct contact with the community and the users of the application to actually share with us, bugs or features that they want, and we can prioritize like that, and it makes the development of the application very lean and fast and responsive to the effective needs of the UX
It's the first time we're doing that. Actually, the Adobe team started from a blank page and said, okay, this is the app with just a few features. What do you want to see? And you can submit request new features, vote for features, and every month there will be a new update. And this is a new way for us to create applications with the community. And the new one, based on this model, is Project Felix.
Yes.
So this is the same with the user voice, where we just start from a very minimalistic app, the first one, the beta, and then we build it with the community.
Let me see if maybe I can find it here. Here.
You want to show user voice?
Yeah.
Oh, you type adobexd.uservoice.com.
Ah.
You'll find it.
adobexd.uservoice.com. Because I find it so cool that, yes, here we go. So recently updated ideas and
yeah, and the team directly replies. So you will see like product managers and engineers saying, "Oh, we're working on it," or challenge the ideas.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
If it's a known issue, if it's bugs, needs more info, or not a bug. So it's super easy. It's a super easy way to actually talk with the development teams and and get involved in the future of applications. So let me go back to the music player here. So as you mentioned, this whole music player experience was designed in Adobe XD.
Yep.
Of course, using Photoshop or Illustrator for designing the graphics.
Yeah, the icons. And play with the pictures. So that's nice. And he used some good placement, Photoshop to make it look like it's on the iPhone. That's it.
Great stuff.
And he did one which is very long. Maybe, which one was it? Maybe we can try the food shopping.
Juicy Loops.
Juicy Loops, yeah. And I think like Simon, he just challenges himself, just to, I want to work on this kind of app, and then he will just design an app.
Yeah, it's a very complete project here, and this is one thing that comes over and over again in these Behance portfolios is that of course it's an opportunity to show the real work you're doing and explain a little bit about your process, your thoughts, your creative development. But also, one thing that we see a lot is, the necessity for creative professionals to actually do work on personal projects and find the time to work on personal projects. And we've seen quite a few over these 2 days of designers that work for very big companies or that have incredible customers and clients, but they always find the time to work on personal projects in order to complement their portfolio and also to maybe show what it is that they really want to be working on. So I think that's always a very good idea, even if it's not real. No, it looks real to me, right now.
Yeah. Very well designed.
Very well designed, and of course using also these for placement images and things like that makes it all look even more real.
Cool.
So you said there was a very long one?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It will be hard to find.
Okay.
So
yes, so maybe just for Simon, one thing that I really like seeing in portfolios is a little bit more information about what it is, what the thought process was, what it is, what is the customer journey in your application, a little bit more about the ideas behind the project, so that I can get insight. Because one thing that I noticed is looking at portfolios is that if there is no information, the viewers, such as me, we have to make a lot of assumptions, and maybe these assumptions are wrong. And basically, yes, it's always keep the opportunity to to really explain what's happening there. I don't know if Simon is here. Okay, no, I haven't seen him.
And actually, there is a way that he could do with Adobe XD. You can export an interactive prototype that you can embed in your Behance portfolio.
Oh.
So you could have like the app and say if I touch...
This is something that you've shown on a video recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I use this trick to create slideshows on Behance.
Ah, okay.
Because there is no slideshow feature yet, so I create a slideshow with Adobe XD, I export the prototype, and you can directly embed it on.
Okay. Yes, because you can embed HTML inside of your Behance page.
But not the HTML has to be authorized. But because this is an Adobe XD prototype, then Behance lets you run the HTML
automatically.
Automatically,
Okay.
like you cannot run any embedded HTML code because it would be a huge security breach.
Yes.
But if it comes from XD, then you can.
Okay, awesome. Yep, so haven't seen Simon here. Okay, all right. So let's look at this other one that we've selected from
Also,
sorry, yeah, good.
No, it was for Joseph. So it was for Emily. So
Yes.
again, Emily is supposed to show up. She's stuck in the traffic of New York. Emily is a professional UX designer working for the New York Times, and she was live with us on Adobe Live.
Yes.
A few months ago now, and
Live in San Francisco.
and she created a prototype of an app about skincare, beauty care, and she was using the beta of Adobe XD.
Okay.
It was her first experience, so she was discovering the tool as she was designing,
Wow.
and she has been very successful. I mean,
All right, I'm super curious to see if she's still using it. And
I don't think so because Adobe XD is still in beta,
Okay.
and the New York Times are using another platform for sure.
okay.
But maybe for her personal work, maybe she could be good to see if she updated the app and she's still checking it. Yeah.
So Joseph is from Prague in the Czech
beautiful
Republic.
city.
Yes, Prague is beautiful. And Joseph, if you're here in the chat, please give us a little signal. And if you have any questions or any specific things that you want us to look at, please tell us. The one thing that intrigues me is this one here because I like how the layers are working out here. Wow, that's a nice presentation. I love this when type and images start like bleeding in like this.
In the description.
Description, the various layers. Very complete project.
It's nice. It's very good web design, very modern. Huge impact with the font. It is good for sport, action.
Action.
And that's for Reebok. I mean, it's a big customer.
Oh, and it was featured in Interaction Design.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good.
Very nice. Very nicely done. And yeah, like I said, this is a very nice way that Joseph used to tell a story because this continuous scrolling actually, gives us a very good idea of what's happening here. And I always enjoy the thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Especially
after a very long scroll.
After a very long scroll, especially near the like button here, the
yeah.
appreciate button. I'm appreciating this. That's always a very good idea. So Joseph, kudos. This is a really nice set of work here. Is there anything that piqued your interest?
Yeah, this one. Oh, look at the cars.
The cars.
Yeah, this one is super cool.
Whoa, even, yeah, like nice typography as well.
Yeah, nice cars.
Are these real cars?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Bugatti, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they're real cars,
crazy,
yeah.
And so
Looks
he
like
designed
the Batmobile.
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah. So he designed a web experience to feature these classic cars. And it's very nice because at some point, I think, like if you scroll down, you will see, okay, there is a video showing the CSS transitions, and you see, like, it's very neat. And I like the file so that he shows the finger, like where to click, and because it's one thing to know how to create a layout, especially with the web and use typography, but then it's very close to motion design. When you have to decide what would be the pace of the animations, what will come first, and then you have to code everything and make it work for all the brothers, make sure it's optimized for the iPad. It's a lot of work, but his work is really neat. I really wanted to feature his work because I was really impressed by this project. Even typography, it's very strong, very classy, like these cars.
Yeah, it's crazy beautiful.
And we discovered the Bugatti. I wasn't aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
I didn't know
Bugatti
this one.
Batmobile. Yes, beautifully done, Joseph. Let's see if Joseph is here. Oh, no, everybody's saying amazing work. Yes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's.
And yeah, like
You should really follow
look
Joseph,
at this
but,
this landing page
Oh
for
my
the
God, yeah.
for the project. It's just incredible.
And also for you people watching, hey Simon, hey.
Oh, Simon here. Sorry, I
You're
was
at
at
work.
work.
That's fine. Don't worry.
All right, you can watch the playback. We've said only nice things about you.
And we, yeah. So you should follow Joseph also for the people watching because the way he presents his work. It's like so intense, you know, like so immersive. So you can also get some tips and tricks, you know, like just watching the way he presents the work, like with these very strong headers and then a description, and then again, he puts you into the work. So I mean, it's very inspiring the way he presents.
Yeah, you know, there's this thing that it's so much used as a concept, and I almost hate it by now. But you know, it's all about the storytelling. You know, like yeah. But it's true. It is true because you know, it's not only showing work like you know one picture after the other. It's really like getting into the experience, and I really want to know more about this. I wonder if it was ever made, or if this is well, I don't know.
I think so. I think it's a real website. Yeah. Okay, so in the meantime, our friends in the chat submitted some portfolio on Twitter.
Okay.
So if you go on Twitter, I will let you know if.
All right.
If there is something weird on that. Okay, so you have the first one at the top. I will let you know.
HN.
Yeah, that's good. You can go there.
HN. Hassizni. Nizar Hassizni. From Casablanca,
yeah,
Morocco.
Okay, good.
Very good. So Nizar, is there any specific thing that you want us to look at? Something that you're really proud of?
So first, like if I look at this, I see
a lot of illustration.
Yeah, a mix of illustration and also identity design.
Yeah, creative designer.
Okay.
Yes. I hope you're creative if you're a designer.
And then the focus, art direction, branding, and graphic design.
Okay. But I see a lot of illustration here too.
Yeah.
So maybe illustration should be part of that as well.
Or maybe it's to serve an identity. So
yeah.
You can,
so let's see. Let's look at the posters, for example.
Okay. So yeah. So the first question I will have here. Okay, it's a tribute to a French book, I see.
Yes.
Yeah, the question I have when I see this stuff is it a personal work? I guess this is, but so if it's a personal work, I mean, you have to say it. Because if you come back
yes,
and take something like a restaurant, I guess this is a real project.
Ah.
You know, so it's good to share personal work because it's a way to share your voice, your creative direction, but then just make it obvious. Just make it obvious. Yeah, this one is much more interesting.
Yes. Look at all these little icons and. Yes, and I love the way it's presented. Like, let's go from the beginning again, like how this image takes the whole place and then the story starts. Ah, so there were 3 different ideas, okay. I wonder which one made it. I think this one is interesting. Almost looks like the cowboy and the setting sun and.
Branding identity. Oh, I think he kept the proposal 3. Yeah.
Ah, he chose that one too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a nice picture. I like the. Looks like this picture and like this experience has been really made for Behance to scroll. You know, you see all the elements added, like tomato, broccoli. You almost feel you are inside the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very
Have
good.
you eaten today?
No,
yeah, and we need to eat.
I'm dizzy.
Oh, I like this. I like this packaging solution for juice.
Oh, yeah. That's very good. So it's so much more professional that I would remove the first project we opened with illustration. Seriously, I would just don't keep it in your portfolio because this is so much better.
Yeah, this actually, you know, like inspires me to see more of your work. Let's see if we can find some other things that are kind of in the same direction. Like technology, identity branding, maybe?
Yeah, always tough because technology is not very warm, so it's always tough to express technology with design.
So I guess it's music. Oh, I like animations are always
very good.
Cool. This one is very simple. Ah, no. Okay. Fréquence, technology.
Yeah, fréquence, frequency. And the logo, okay, so playing with it. Okay, some proposals. It's interesting to see also proposals.
Yeah.
You know, they are very different.
So is this student work?
Yeah, again, this is something you could, and also invite you to translate. Yeah, be careful, like Behance, because the description is in French. Even if it's a smaller description, make sure to have a description in English. I mean, you might miss an opportunity, you know, to get some business.
Yeah.
From the UK, for instance. I mean, any country, just because the description is in French. That's what I would suggest. But yeah, good job.
Good job
for sharing.
He didn't show up in the chat though. Okay.
No, maybe he's just watching.
Maybe he's just watching.
Chatting.
Maybe.
Which is fair.
Yes.
That's fine.
Nizar, salut.
Okay, let me see if there is a. Okay, there is another branding one that has been shared on Twitter
by
Miraculous. This one.
Oh wow. Okay. Very clear.
Yeah. At least it's strong.
Like we know you make logos.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Like I have no doubt. Like if I'm looking for a logo designer, I see this portfolio. So okay, I know he knows what he's doing.
Ah, it was featured in Pratt and graphic design. So very nice, Mirek.
He's from
Albany, New York.
New York, USA. Okay.
So close to here, somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not so good at the geography of the region here, but I've heard of Albany. It's close to here.
Amélie is coming. Amélie Lamont is coming, guys.
Amélie is on her way. But so basically,
you have to be very nice with Amélie because she would be very stressed.
Oh, poor Amélie. But anyway, like this is.
So when she arrives, you say, "Oh, welcome, Amélie." You put some hearts in the chat and everything because she will be super stressed.
Yes. So yes.
Because New York is a very stressful city. I don't know what you think, Rufus.
A lot of hearts. Yeah. Oh yes. All the people here. It's like.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I go. Agoraphobia is like.
I mean, because Rufus and I, we live in like Italy and Paris, so we're about chill.
Chill, you know.
But, oh my God, what's happening in this city? They're crazy, and it starts at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. They're all like running everywhere.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So yeah. Anyway.
Oh here.
Mirek. All right. Play on name.
Play on name.
Mirek. Yeah. So Mirek, great that you have a very focused approach to your presentation on Behance because it leaves us with no doubt.
It's very clean, very strong colors.
So let me boa.
Oh, boa. Like a snake, no? Yeah, boa is a snake.
So. Okay.
And it's building. Oh yeah, it's
building out athletes. Okay. What is this? It's like one of those.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
We don't.
I mean, we don't. You know.
Italy, France.
Yeah, no, we don't do that fitness stuff until it's going to be too late. Yeah, it's very. So I like this explanation of how you came to it. Maybe it could be a little bit better integrated in...
with the white background.
With the white background, it looks like it's just stuck there. And again, this is the one thing that I always say when I'm looking at portfolios here on Behance is give us a little bit more explanation. Give us, like almost like a little mini brief to the project so that we can understand what's happening here. I completely get it. There's this snake, there's this thing here. I don't know, it's and weights. Okay, so and these are all inside of your logo. So that's
no, logo is very strong.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look at another one.
From maybe we can pick one with a completely different style.
Yeah, like cafeteria.
Yeah, cafeteria is so different. 2009. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's quite old
not
project.
a big deal. Just a cool local cafe.
Yeah, not a big
All
deal.
right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we see its placement. Okay. Yeah, it's more classic work, I would say. I mean, it's efficient. Like
Yes.
you would see this in the streets. You say, okay, it looks like a playful cafeteria with a.
And it's cool to see that it was actually produced.
Oh yeah.
But again, a little bit more context. The context is super important for when people or even potential customers look at your work, is to to really understand what this was all about. Because the danger is that if there is no information, we make assumptions, and assumptions are never really good. So more explanation.
So maybe something more recent. Go to
More
the top.
recent. Yeah.
Let's see this one. Marks and logo 2000. Oh, maybe it's the kind of logo.
Like all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like
Okay.
this. Your
So
whole
it's
collection.
cool because we can see that your working is clean, but then a logo without the context, it's so dry. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Here there is more concept.
Yes,
but
there is
man,
more. Oh, there's the name of the agency.
I prefer
as
when you
well.
have the. I prefer when you have the entire project with the history and stuff. But that's good. That's good.
So yeah, it's a good overview.
It's a good wrap-up, yeah. It's a good summary. But all these logos are very clean.
Yeah, some are more complex than others. Like,
It's for a pharmaceutical, I guess, industry. Boa is back.
Boa is back. Thank you. Yeah. Mirek, more context, always important. And yes, and when presenting logos, it's always very, very cool to actually see them on things. And remember that, even here in Creative Cloud, in the assets library, we have maybe, I don't know, what would I want? Maybe I don't know.
A bag.
A bag. So, okay, there's of course icons, but then there's also, and I can actually...
You can just...
go here and go to
For placement.
And basically, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things inside of Creative Cloud. It's already there. You can use them and place your logo on
Bye,
it. To make it
Rufus.
bye.
Bye. It was cool.
Bye. And hello, Amélie. Amélie has just arrived. We're gonna find out in a second about her adventure in the underground of New York. So, remember when I said about like lots of little hearts in the chat for Amélie? Okay, she's super stressed. All right, so I have her page open already. And welcome, Amélie. How are you? Yeah, you're okay now. Yes. You've got some water, you've got a chair, everything's chill.
Yeah, that's chill.
And and now we're gonna, I just, the chat. Oh, there we go, see?
Hi.
Love, hey Amélie. Yeah. They're all very happy that you've made it.
Yay.
Okay, Ryan, Evil Cerise. Maybe you've met Evil Cerise in the last stream, maybe. Yeah, it's like one of the top mods. There you go. From Uruguay. Robzilla is in the house. Oh, he retracted his message. I wonder why Robzilla would retract a message. Anyway. So, hello,
Hi.
and welcome to Adobe Live.
Thank you.
Here, live from 99U. And you've made it?
Yes.
No, that's just fine. You made it in your slot.
I
so,
did.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, Amélie, for those of in the chat that don't know you, maybe we can just have a little chat about who you are, what you do, and
sure.
yeah.
So my name is Amélie. I'm a product design lead at the New York Times. I've been there for about 9 months now, and it's awesome. Pretty much what I do in my day-to-day is I'm on the customer product team, and what we do is we help subscribers strengthen their relationship with the Times. So a lot of the work that I'm working on is behind-the-scenes stuff. So updating your account information, changing your billing information, etc. So
that's an experience that must,
yeah,
that must work.
Exactly, and most people don't really know about it when they think of the New York Times, but it's still pretty important. So
yeah. Awesome. So have you always been designing things like that, or?
Not quite like that. I started out designing, this is going to sound so dorky, when I was a kid. I used to make comic books, and I would design things like the yearbook or the sets for plays, things like that. And then eventually, as I started to teach myself how to code, I started building websites for things like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and Neopets, and I realized very quickly, oh, I can make money off of this. So I started freelancing, and from there it just has kind of escalated to where I am now. So.
All right. So this is your website?
Yeah, it's super outdated, but
outdated. Oh, is there something you would prefer to?
There's nothing I can show you that would be allowed for me to show you.
Yes, of course. Maybe there's some older things then that we can have a look at.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I let you pilot your own website.
Let's take out the VenueBook rebrand. So this was a startup that I worked for about a year or so ago. I agree, the New York Times is not failing. Yes. Okay, and so at that startup, if we go through the portfolio, we can see that one of the biggest problems is that we didn't really clearly differentiate who we served and who VenueBook was for. VenueBook was a two-sided marketplace, so B2B and B2C. But when you got to the site, say you specifically were looking for a venue, and that's what VenueBook is. It's a service that allows you to book a venue online for an event. And when you got to the website, it was very confusing. You didn't understand what you were supposed to do or how you even could book a venue. So when I got in, I took a look at it. This was the original site, and one of the things that I like to do as a product designer is I specifically like to relate data to the UI and what we're building. I think it's really important as we're designing to not design in a vacuum and to make sure that we're taking into account business needs as well. And so after I looked at the data and saw that based on the UI that was currently existing, there wasn't as much conversion as the company would like. And at this point, we were in a stage ready to prepare to raise money for our Series A for our startup. And so from there, I started jumping into a redesign, started thinking about the audience, started working with different teams, engineering, marketing, etc. Came up with personas, started doing sketches. We did interviews, like 3 days of full interviews, which was really intense. And from there, we ended up with this design that you see on the left. And it was funny because at that point, we felt really good about it. And then we ended up getting a new marketing manager, and I had a conversation with this new marketing manager, and we were like, oh, maybe the direction we want to go in is not what's on the left, but what's on the right, at least for the consumer-facing side. Something that was more inviting, that was very clear as to what VenueBook was for and why you should use it, and that you can literally use it to book parties. So this is kind of where we landed with that redesign. So for that redesign, I worked on the UI, the overall design, the branding, the logo, all of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I prefer the right version as well.
Yeah.
It's so much clearer. I mean, and there's always the risk here that, I mean, I know you can sort of, like it's become, like text becomes less legible on photographic background.
Exactly.
And this is clear.
Yeah.
Search, book, party.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So, yeah. And then for my portfolio, one of the things that I try to do is I build out an entire story. One of my pet peeves as a designer is to have a portfolio that only consists of images, because especially me in a product design lead role, oftentimes I'm the one helping to interview designers. So if I'm looking at your portfolio and I can't understand your process or how you got to a place, then it's very hard for me to make a decision about whether or not we want to bring you onto the team.
Well, this is very timely because I spent all of my streaming hours telling people just that.
Yes.
And even now, we've just, while we were waiting for you, we've been looking at 2 portfolios, and a couple didn't have any textual information in it. And I always push people that explain your process, because just putting images, even if they're pretty images, it's not enough. I need to understand the process. I need to understand how you think.
Exactly.
I need to understand, how the idea came to life, and yeah. So I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
For that project.
And the beginning was
This was the old version.
Yeah.
Significantly different.
filter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go back.
Okay.
Is there maybe another project that we can talk about?
We can talk about the Venue Book search. So when I redesigned the entire Venue Book brand, one of the things that we realized as we went through was that, because I didn't mention that rebrand happened in about 3 to 4 months, so it was very quick.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of things that were missed, especially when it comes to how people were able to search on the site. And so what I ended up doing was taking a look at some of the usability issues that we had. We ended up doing another full round of usability studies to get people to go through the search and figure out what was wrong with it. And that was pretty funny, because even just for the filters that we had and some of the UI elements, people were really confused. They didn't understand what they were supposed to do. There were search items that looked like cards, but people couldn't tell that they were cards. So there was just a lot of confusion around that. And so for this particular problem, the key things were the filters, the cards, and then also the size of the search bar. And so again, same thing with the design process. After the usability study, I started working on some sketches, writing out some ideas, whiteboarding it with my PM and some of the engineers. And then from there, we ended up with this design that you see on the right. So what we had before was the map on the right-hand side, and then the cards on the left-hand side, which is very Airbnb-esque. And we realized—
Is that a real objective?
I mean—
Airbnb-esque?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And while obviously that works really well for Airbnb, it didn't work well for us. And so we were like, okay, let's take a step back. And obviously that was done in a very short amount of time. Let's figure out what works best for us. So we actually put this mock-up in front of people, as well as a few others in usability studies. And a lot of people found that the map at the top was very clear. The search bar at the top was very clear. And then the filters on the left-hand side can expand and contract based on your needs, and the search results will change on the right-hand side to fit it.
So let me ask, because that's one of my pet peeves. It's like when I scroll down on pages and I start scrolling on the map starts moving.
Yeah, the map would not start moving if your mouse were on it. So, yeah.
Cool. So that's another example of the type of things you do.
Yep.
Do you have some more?
Nothing else that I would want to share. Most of it is Venue Book on here, as you can see.
Okay, yeah.
So there's not, like I said, it's outdated.
Okay.
If I could show you a New York Times project, I would, but I'm not allowed to.
We can. All right. So let's talk a little bit about maybe your process, how you get to your to your ideas, and where do you find inspiration?
Yeah. So I can speak to what my process and day-to-day is like at the Times. So depending on the project that we're working on, it usually starts off with a kickoff meeting. So it's myself, PM. At the New York Times, we also have project managers. and then the engineers, and we sit down and we talk about, okay, what is this project? What are the goals? What are the KPIs and the metrics that we want to hit? And what do we think we need to do to get there? After we have that conversation, then we start, more than likely for design, we'll do some further distillation with the product manager to figure out, make sure that we have like the business rules, like correctly understood, and then from there I can start working on sketches. So the sketches are very, very low fidelity. They're just like paper, pencil, that's it. And then when I
go back to a sketch here, because it's important, that I think it's important for people to understand, also people here in the chat, that sketches don't need to be perfect.
No.
It's a layout idea and notes, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like very low fidelity. Sometimes I'll get super granular and I'll even take Post-it notes and I'll do like sketches on the Post-it notes because the space is so constrained and I can't go like really huge the way I can with like an 8x11 piece of paper. So I'll start off with sketches and then I'll actually bring that back to the product manager and the rest of the design team and we'll talk about it. Like, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? And then from there, we'll just keep going back and forth. Once we've decided on what makes sense, then I'll finally hop into sketch and then I'll do also a very low fidelity like wireframe. Like, I mean, gray boxes and outlines, no text or content, like very simple. And then again, bring it back in front of the PM, sometimes the engineers, then also the rest of the design team, and we'll talk about it, what makes sense, what doesn't. I think what's key about this process is that there's never a moment where I'm designing in a vacuum. Like, I'm always trying to bring people into the process. And I know that sometimes designers are like, oh, well, I can show engineering later. They're just supposed to build it, but that's not quite true because I'll give a great example, which is right now we're building out this user account area at the Times, and we had office hours where the engineers could come in and look at like the very rough wireframes that we've been building. And one of the engineers pointed out something in the designs, and I was like, oh, that's actually really great. I hadn't even thought about that. So that's why it's really important to get as many people involved as early as possible, and that also even includes QA as well, like everyone's involved. And then from there, once everything's good for the wireframes and then the low fidelity designs, then we start moving into higher fidelity. And same thing along the way, constantly showing engineering, PM, everyone on the team to make sure that it's good. And then from there, once everything is good to go, then I will pass off the designs to engineering. But I actually have it set up at the times where I have office hours twice a week. So Mondays and Fridays for an hour where when we're in the depths of a project, the engineers and I can meet and we can go over any questions that they have as they're building. That's pretty much it. And then once it's built, of course, there's iterations. So then it's constantly myself, the PM, and the engineers like going back and forth and cleaning things up.
Yeah, long process and complex process. And one thing that I want to add maybe is that, of course, if you don't have access to all of these great teams like you have, access your communities, use social media to, for validation, for people having a look, to give, constructive criticism.
Yes.
There's so many different ways that even people working alone don't feel alone anymore. Like when I was starting my design business back in the early 90s, I was very alone. It was just me.
No chat rooms?
And my books. No. And then of course, my company grew. I started to have my co-workers with me, and that made it all the more interesting and more interactive. But it's like if I had all the tools I have now, it would have been completely different.
Exactly. And the other thing I would add to that is that when you're sharing your designs and you're looking for feedback, you have to be absolutely intentional about the type of feedback that you want. So I'll give 2 examples. One example is one time I just wasn't paying attention, and in the New York Times Slack, I shared a design and I was like, hey everyone, what do you think about this? And they were like, which part? And I was like, oh yeah, good point. Versus if I have a design and I share it with my team or anyone I want to look at it, I can say, nothing else is finished. What do you think about this button? Or what do you think about this search bar? Or what do you think about the copy that I've written for this page? Does this make sense to you? Does this flow make sense? So regardless of whether you're asking your team members or someone on social media for feedback, make sure that you're very specific about what the type of feedback is you're looking for.
Yes, like be very specific about the questions. Yeah, specificity, that's a recurring term now. Like, even in the portfolio itself, and be specific when you present your work, be specific when you ask for feedback, be specific. Yeah, I mean, there's so much noise around us that you have to be specific.
Exactly.
These days, right? There is no time to not be specific. You know what? We had a few portfolios that were submitted to us, and they're UX portfolios. So maybe I just want to go over them very quickly with you again.
Sure.
Maybe if we can move over to just us.
Okay.
And I'll tell you just in a second once I've opened those. So Simon, if you're still in the chat, we're going to be going back to yours, and of course this one as well from Joseph.
I am a product designer, which often encompasses UX and UI, to answer your question. I would say your name, but I don't want to butcher it.
Who's that?
Naboisha? Naboisha. See, I butchered it. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's a beautiful name, though.
Yeah, I like it.
So yes, so Simon, he was in the chat earlier, and he's been following us for quite a long time here on Adobe Live. And yes, and he submitted his portfolio using Twitter and shared it with us. So there are a few things. Have you had the time to look at them?
I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what is there anything specific that piqued your interest, or?
I would say.
Because I gave my feedback already, so now it would be awesome to have Amélie's feedback on that.
Can I do 2 items?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this one and this one. So I remember, I pronounced it right.
Yay.
Yes. Okay, anyway, so I was looking at Simon's portfolio and I saw Parkskate, which I found really interesting. So when you get to the top of the portfolio, and I think the best way to go about this is I'm just going to pretend I'm a design manager, because obviously I feel like the reason you build portfolios is because you want to get hired, either by clients or by someone. So I get to this, I'm a design manager, I'm looking to hire Simon, and it says Parkskate e-commerce store experience concept, a creative hub for creative athletes such as artists, illustrators, and designers to show off their skills and make art for skateboards. What I like about this intro is that you explicitly said that it's a concept. One of the things that I struggle with sometimes when I'm looking at portfolios is I wonder, is this real? Is this fake? Is this a project that you did for fun, like as a side project? So the fact that you were very clear about that is really important and awesome.
Be specific.
Yes. So I scroll down and I see this image. I'm actually going to make it bigger. Oops. There you go. And then the first thing I see is this computer with the website inside of it. So one thing that I will say is that when looking at portfolios, it is nice to see the design inside of a device, but one of the things that we tend to do as designers is we tend to put all of our designs specifically in Apple devices. And one thing that I would love to see us is move away from that, because a website is technically...
You mean you would like to see a Windows device?
Any type of...
I'm just kidding.
Any type of device.
Yeah, just generic.
Yeah, because the idea is that a website is a product, and if I'm a business owner, I don't necessarily care if you have a Mac or a PC, I just want your money. So I want to make sure that my product works on a range of devices. If this website or this product is specifically meant to be on Macintosh machines, I would love for you to explain exactly why that is, but that's just something to keep in mind. So then I got to this part when I was looking at it last night, and I loved this because I was like, yes, wireframes, it's amazing. I know where the images are supposed to go, I know where the text is supposed to go, I know where the logo is, etc. The one thing that I will say that I wish I could see more of is an explanation. So to the point of being more specific. why is the logo up here? Why is there a giant hero image with text over it? What was the intention of placing these links below the hero image, etc.? I'm curious to know more about the process. So the wireframes give me a little bit of a peek into the process, but not enough because I don't know why you arrange this the way you did. So even before this, I would love to see sketches beforehand as well to see how you got here. Like, where did this placement come from and why is it here? The other thing I would say about this is dummy text is fine for wireframes, but real text is also very helpful for wireframes too. Like, so for example, if I had a project at the Times that I was working on, I could put dummy text and show it to my teammates, or even if I were working on a project for a client, I could put in dummy text, but for all of us, whether you're a designer or engineer, it's better to understand and better to imagine what this will potentially look like if there's real copy here, even if you have to fake it. So that's also something to think about. Same thing, I like that you showed what it looks like on a mobile device as well, and then my comment about devices still stands here as well. And then I like that you showed the full page, like in its entirety, within this like snapshot here. I think that's really important because I think sometimes as we're designing, especially for websites, we tend to forget what the entire site will look like. So it's nice that you actually put this here. The one thing I will say is when I was looking at this, I got to this section and I was reading the descriptions for each skateboard. So Broken Wings, Cool Dude, Worship, and it looks like this text specifically applies to the designs on the skateboard. So if I were, say, a consumer, I would be curious to know, like, what brand is it? Maybe like I'm a skateboard aficionado and I want a skateboard from a very specific brand, but I can't tell which brand is which on here. So again, even though it's not a real website and it's just a concept, it's still worth it to try and think of things from a consumer perspective and try to think of what a user might want if they were on this website. That could even be done through user testing, showing it to friends who love skateboards just to get an idea of what might be missing from here. The other thing I'd want to see as well, and this is so minor, but still something to think about for an e-commerce store, is do these skateboards ever get discounted? If so, what would that look like? Is there a way to purchase the skateboard directly from this page? If so, what would that look like? So just trying to think of all the possible scenarios, even though it's a concept, is a really nice way for me as a product lead or design manager to really understand how deeply you're thinking about the problem. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty straightforward to me. So like this. This, however, I don't mind seeing designs in a device, but I want to make sure that as we're designing, you should be very careful about some of these iPhone shots where like the iPhone is angled. Most people are not going to be looking at the iPhone like this. Most people aren't going to be looking at the iPhone like this.
I always browse the web going like this on my iPhone. Yeah, like at this angle. Come on.
So it's not bad. I'm just saying that sometimes when we show these design shots in these devices, we tend to get caught up in the beauty of the product in the actual device rather than thinking about how someone would actually use it. So I would actually want to see you take your actual device, whether it's Android or iPhone, put the mock-up into there and have your friend hold it and take a photo of your friend using it so you can get an idea of like, is this page too long to scroll? What does it feel like, etc.
And this is all things you can now, like mock up in Adobe XD.
Yes, exactly.
And all this stuff was done with Adobe XD.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So basically, yeah, like having the prototype on the mobile device and go from there.
Yeah.
All right, Amélie, the time is over already.
Over?
Yeah, you made it all the way here. And Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much
Yeah, thanks for having me.
that you did this last mile to come, blocked in the train to come here. And thank you so much for your insight. It was super interesting.
Thanks for having me.
And also thank you for Simon here. I think that was very good feedback. And we're going to be back live here in about 5 minutes at the top of the hour as the show continues here on AdobeLive.com, live from 99U Conference in New York City. So stay tuned. We will be right back and see you later.